Hi, this is Odeean. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the Transformers Generations Protectorbot Hotspot. This is one of those figures we've come to know as Asian Exclusive, and I'm guessing maybe that's what this little text here says, although I really can't read it, I have no idea. I'm not sure if the Voyager classes of Asian Exclusives are going to be released in the US. I've heard that the deluxe ones are. I've already bought a few of the deluxe ones that haven't arrived yet. This guy turned up today in a green paper bag like what you get from Chamungmung, which is where I bought this, and he's quite excellent looking in his box. I thought I'd just give you all a quick look. So straight off, he looks a lot like how Grapple was packaged in his box, the same kind of packaging standing up, not how Inferno was packaged. Inferno was in vehicle mode, but it seems to be the thing now where these big guys are packaged in robot mode. So taking a look a little bit closer, we've got a picture. I'm not sure if it's a photo. I think it's a photo of the vehicle mode, which looks exactly the same as Inferno's. Turning it around, this is a really interesting thing. We have, let me move my light, we have a picture of Brawn. So this picture of Brawn to me looks more like a Photoshop or a computer generated image. I don't really think it's a picture of an actually produced toy. I don't know if it's coming through on the video, but in hand it really doesn't look like a real picture. So I know a lot of people had their hopes up for Brawn, but I've heard that maybe Brawn is cancelled now due to an American release of the bulkhead mold. So that's yet to be seen. I'll probably get Brawn if he comes out. I like the idea of that, and I love that mold. So as soon as I see Brawn, if he's available, I'll have it. On the back of the box, we have Hotspot in his robot mode, and another picture of the vehicle launching water blast, firing arm cannon, vehicle to robot fire rescue mode, 2-in-1. On the other side, we have a picture of his head and the following writing: Protectorbot Hotspot strives to be the best leader he can be. He refuses to ask those under his command to do anything he would not do himself. No matter the situation, he will always be found at the head of his soldiers, his voice calling loudly above the battle, and his cannons blazing. And then a bunch of more stuff I can't read. Strength 9, Intelligence 7, Speed 4, Endurance 9, Rank 7, Courage 9, Fire Blast 7, Skill 6. So let's get this guy open. Okay, here we have Hotspot with Inferno and Grapple. Hotspot is pretty much identical in every way except the head to Inferno. In my Inferno, you'll see I've got this add-on kit. What's this? I think it's the Gear of War 2. I'm not sure, but anyway, this ladder isn't what comes with Inferno. Inferno comes with a water cannon identical to this, just coloured different on the water blast. But really the main difference between these two guys is the head. So if I bring him closer, you'll see that his head is a unique and new mould. He's got a clear, relatively clear plastic light piping with red painted eyes. A little bit unusual for an Autobot, but his head is unlike any other head that we've got so far in Classic, so that's what really attracted me to buying this. His lights up here they're not made of the same plastic as these other two guys. They're a bit cloudy, like they're a different kind of plastic. This plastic back here is a bit harder. This is a bit more cloudy, but still, that's fine. I like how the windshield has been made of a darker plastic as well. It's still see-through, which is hard to tell from this shot, but it is a very dark see-through plastic. And I can see some little flecks in it, so I'm not sure whether that's some kind of paint over a clear window or if it's actually moulded in darker plastic to start with. When it comes to the heads on these guys, I think they all actually have clear plastic for the light piping. So Inferno has clear plastic with blue paint over the top of it, and Grappel has clear plastic with purple paint over the top of it. And their light piping, yeah, you can really see it there. You can see the edge of clearness around the purple paint. It works quite well. This guy seems to have the same intent, but I think that they've put a little more paint around him. So when you've got a bright light like this, it still shows up, but not to the same degree out of these lighting conditions as the other guys. As far as paint apps are concerned, I think that Inferno and Hotspot are pretty much on par. So Inferno has a few details in white at the front here that Hotspot doesn't have, but Hotspot has these shoulder stripes that Inferno doesn't have. So these two guys are sort of adequately painted as far as I'm concerned. When it comes to the Grapple figure, he is sorely lacking in paint. So he's got these stripes on the shoulders, but if you look under these panels on the arms, there's only this stripe, no silver on the hydraulic moulded detail here, which would really have been nice, but they didn't include that. The other two guys do have that painting on the moulded detail like this. And while I'm talking about it, this little section is the same as with Inferno, so it can still rotate and you can transform it how you like. I think it's meant to be back like that. That's why they've put the panel in there in the first place. On Grapple, it's a solid piece. It doesn't come loose at all. Let's get this guy transformed. To transform him, first lift him up like this, then turn the arm panels around 180 degrees, then pop them a little bit loose so you've got something to grab hold of later. Bend this panel, the waist, up like this. Next, grab his back, this black thing in the back, and dislodge it, putting it out like this. Bend his head inwards. Get these shoulder panels, and we want to lift them up out of the way like some wings, up like this. Bring his arms out into this position so that the gun or water cannon is on the upways section. Next, we want to fold his arms back like this and extend these panels the rest of the way. Okay. Now, his legs need to rotate. So what we're going to do is, I don't think it makes much difference if you rotate it at the hip or at the knee. I prefer to rotate it at the hip, but either way will be fine. Then we're going to grab this at the waist and fold it up like this. And you'll see that this reveals these little wheels. The wheels have to be rotated into the outwards position. Next, tab in these inner legs like so. Then we want to grab this section here, and if you look closely you'll see there are some little tabs that lock the sides together. We want to slot them in and underneath like that. Straighten them off at the back. Bring these wings into this position and then just fold them down. Oh, hang on, I've missed something. Before you fold it down, grab this panel underneath, fold it out, then fold it down. These also are going to tab under the front like so. Pushed it in too far, so just going to take it out again now and repeat that again. God damn it. On the other side, do the same thing. Pull out the little flap. Open this one. Turn it around. Slot in the bottom section. There are some more little tabs up here. Just want to make make it all hold together. So now you can turn the water gun into this position and finally peg this top section in, and there you have it. So Hotspot rolls really fine, really nicely. In fact, he rolls so well I wish they had put rubber wheels on him. But this water cannon feature is pretty stupid, and I'm thinking I'm going to need to buy another Gears of War 2 set to get another ladder for this guy, because a fire truck needs a ladder, not a water blaster. It's fine to have a water cannon on top, but not as the only thing on the back. He's got some really nice detailing on him. Look at this at the side. This sort of blazing firebolt decal, big red Autobot symbol, the silver highlights that I mentioned earlier. His wheels have the two colours in them. So I think that the central section is actually painted. So they've painted the rims of the wheels. I know a lot of crappy toys that they're making at the moment don't have any paint on the wheels, and I absolutely hate that. Can't stand to look at the wheels of those toys these days where there's just a black blob or a brown blob. So this is really nice how they've painted these rims. On the front we have some little paint details over the clear sections of plastic. So on Inferno these little lights are actually clear, but on Hotspot they are painted on. The wipers are painted on in silver, and that's about it. So he's really nice. I'm just going to transform the other guys now and do a comparison. Here's the three robots in truck mode, and as you can see, very similar, with really clear plastic being used in the first two, but this dark plastic on Hotspot. So it's so dark actually that it looks like it's just painted black, but it's really not. They are very similar, but if you've got one of these sets, it's nice that you can differentiate them based on what weapon they're using. One thing I wanted to bring up is the tightness of this mold. So this guy, Grapple, is really loose. He feels like this has been done to death, and I'm guessing that it has been done to death. But this guy feels not, I wouldn't say nice and tight. Even my Inferno doesn't feel as tight as some figures do, but he feels as tight as Inferno. So I'm just guessing that Hotspot has been produced from a different mold to Grapple. I'm not sure how that happens. Maybe Japanese toys were made from one mold and the American ones from another one. I don't know. But this Grapple, his body just pops to pieces. My version, the arms pop off pretty frequently, and it's not really acceptable. So if you're worried about degradation of the mold, like what we have with some of those Seekers that were produced a few years ago, this guy doesn't have mold degradation, and none of his bits have popped off for me without me yanking them, so you've got nothing to worry about when it comes to that. Let's have a look at what he would look like with the other ladder on him. It doesn't want to come off. Okay, I can't show you with the other ladder. This this water blaster is so firmly attached onto its mushroom peg in here that if I try to pull it off, it's going to shave off the plastic and it will never ever go back on. That's how fresh and tight this mold is. That mushroom peg is just awesomely tight, and there's no way it's going to come off. That's even tighter than Inferno. I didn't have too much trouble pulling Inferno's water cannon on to stick this ladder. So I actually believe that Hotspot may well be using a totally different mold to the other Western releases. It just makes me wonder how many molds they actually keep of these guys. So my final thoughts on Hotspot are, Hotspot is a definite win. Thumbs up. You should go out and get this. This is nothing that you're going to regret. the mold that it's based off, the Inferno mold, is it's an awesome mold. I love this. I've got many copies of this mold, and I was just holding back on getting two because I didn't know how sort of degraded it would be, and this is better than the original. It is rock solid. So I can definitely recommend anyone buying this. The price that I paid, the price was $40 plus shipping. So for me, that worked out just a few dollars more than if I had found a Voyager at local retail. So I'm not regretting getting this guy at all. And now that I know how good he is, I'll definitely be getting another one. I mean, to demonstrate just how quality the build on this is, we all know this section here is real, you know what, it pops off badly on grapple and also on Inferno. But look at this. Let's be a bit more rigorous. That is stuck on there. Now I'm sure I could yank that off if I wanted to, but the other versions of my toy aren't as rigid as that. So thanks for watching my video review of Transformers Universe Asian Exclusive Protectorbot Hotspot.